In early December 2025, Si Woo Kim's name suddenly started showing up everywhere, and not because he'd hit a shot that went viral. This time, it was the whispers. Reports and chatter were linking him to LIV Golf, and it wasn't the usual vague internet noise. The talk got loud enough that multiple outlets were openly speculating he'd been offered a LIV deal but was still planning to stay on the PGA Tour. Then Si Woo did something that felt almost suspiciously simple for modern golf drama. He went on Instagram and made it clear he was playing on the PGA Tour. No long statement, no carefully lawyered press release. Just a clean, public shutdown. And that's the part that matters. It's not the headline of whether LIV wanted him. LIV has wanted a lot of people. The real question is why Si Woo became one of the names everyone kept circling in the first place, and why he seemed so comfortable shutting it down with a few words. To understand that, you have to rewind. Back to the part of his story most fans don't even realize happened. Because Si Woo Kim didn't arrive on the PGA Tour the normal way. He arrived early. And later, that detail starts to explain everything. Si Woo Kim turned pro in 2012 when he wasn't even an adult yet. That alone isn't unusual. What is unusual is what happened next. According to the PGA Tour's own profile piece on him, he made it through the final PGA Tour Q School when he was 17 years, 5 months, and 6 days old, becoming the youngest ever to earn a tour card that way. But there was one problem. Under PGA Tour rules, he was too young to actually become a tour member until he turned 18. So imagine what that does to a young player. You get labeled a prodigy before you've even had time to become a professional adult. You are treated like the next big thing while you're still learning how life on the road works and how to bounce back after you get punched in the mouth by a bad week. And those bad weeks came quickly. This early part of his career is the first clue to the Si Woo Kim pattern. He was always talented enough to force his way into the room. The harder part was learning how to stay there. Hold on to that, because it's that exact mix of promise and pressure that makes a league like LIV look at him and think, we want that guy. Si Woo didn't turn that teenage hype into instant superstardom. His path had a detour, and honestly, it made him more dangerous. Then, in August 2016, he finally broke through for his first PGA Tour win, and everything about his career suddenly felt real. At the Wyndham Championship, he won by 5 strokes, finishing the week at 21 under, matching the tournament's all-time scoring record. That wasn't some messy, fluky win where everything fell his way. He won comfortably, like he was a level above the rest of the field. And once you see a young player do that on the PGA Tour, the next thought is pretty obvious. What happens if he brings that same heat to the biggest stage? He didn't make us wait long for the answer, because the next big moment in his story came at a tournament that has a habit of exposing people. In 2017, Si Woo Kim won the Players' Championship. If you're a newer golf fan, the Players might sound like just another PGA Tour stop. But in golf, it's the event everyone looks forward to because the field is basically a major. And TPC Sawgrass has a way of exposing nerves. And then there's the 17th, that island green, where one swing can flip the whole tournament. Si Woo shot a final round 69 at the Players and became the youngest winner in the event's history. What stuck with people wasn't just the trophy, it was how calm he looked doing it, like he wasn't hanging on for dear life, like he expected to be the last man standing. At 21 years old, he already had the kind of trophy that changes how the golf world prices you. It's also the kind of trophy that makes a rival league think, if we can pull that guy, it sends a message. And this is where his story gets interesting. It didn't turn into a neat, straight climb after that. It got bumpy and unpredictable, which is frustrating if you're rooting for him. but it also makes you keep watching. Because being that good, that young, comes with its own problem. Everyone expects you to be great every single week. One very common narrative in sports is a young prodigy who wins early on and then vanishes. Siwoo didn't let this become his story. In January 2021 at the American Express, he played the kind of Sunday that shuts people up. He came down the stretch, birdied 2 of the last 3 holes, and posted a closing 8 under 64 to beat Patrick Cantlay by 1. That win mattered because it proved the players wasn't a one-time lightning strike. He could dip, reset, and still show up when a tournament gets tough late. And the best part is, his next win in 2023 had the exact kind of finish that would matter later. Because it's the same tournament he'd point to when the LIV noise got loud, and he wasn't done. 2 years later, he won again in Hawaii, and that's the perfect bridge into the next chapter of his story. At the Sony Open in Hawaii in January 2023, Siwoo Kim caught fire at the perfect time. He was chasing late on Sunday, then finished strong and stole the tournament right at the end. That made it his 4th PGA Tour win, which is a big deal on its own, but it also matters later in this story. Because when the LIV rumors started swirling in December 2025, the way he pushed back was by pointing to a real plan, not a vague statement. He basically said, "You want to know where I'll be? I'll be at the Sony Open." We'll come back to that. But first, there's one part of Siwoo's profile people overlook, and it helps explain why a league built around teams would see him as a great fit. Siwoo Kim has shown he can thrive even when the sport stops being purely individual. In the 2022 President's Cup, he went 3-1-0 for the week. And if you've watched team golf, you know it does something to players. Some tighten up the second it stops being just about them. Others feed off the noise, the teammates, the pressure of knowing every shot swings momentum. Siwoo has always looked more like the second type. Then in October 2023, something happened that matters a lot more than people outside Korea usually realize. Siwoo Kim and Sungjae Im earned exemptions from mandatory military service after South Korea won Team Gold in golf at the Asian Games. For a Korean athlete, that's a huge career moment. It means the next few seasons can be planned like everyone else's, without that looming pause hanging over you. And it's part of why, heading into the 2025 off-season, it felt like Siwoo Kim is someone who had options, and why the rumor machine had something real to grab onto. So now we come back to the moment that opened this video. On the 12th of December 2025, Reuters reported that multiple reports said Siwoo Kim had turned down a LIV offer and would continue on the PGA Tour. 2 days later, Reuters again reported he committed to the Sony Open beginning January 15 in Hawaii and quoted his Instagram post. "Okay guys, see you in the Sony Open." Then on December 22, Reuters reported that Siwoo denied the rumored move for the second time that month and posted on Instagram, "I will be playing on PGA Tour." That same Reuters report also explained why this story kept creeping up. LIV viewed South Korea as a key growth market, and the league had to finalize its 2026 rosters by February 4. So, if you're wondering why people thought it was plausible, it's all there. Market logic, the timeline, and the fact that he's a proven winner. And yet, when it was time to choose, Siwoo didn't leave it ambiguous. He didn't dance around it. He didn't let other people speak for him. He took the mic and drew a clean line. Now, Siwoo Kim hasn't come out and explained why he said no to LIV, so we're not going to pretend we know what was going through his head. But his career does tell you the kind of stage he's always chased. The moments that turned him into a real name happened on the PGA Tour. Winning the Players at 21 isn't just another trophy. It's the kind of win that can define how people remember you. And he's shown more than once that he'd rather keep proving it than cash out after one hot stretch. When you zoom out, his LIV refusal feels pretty consistent with who he's been since he was 17. He spent his whole career forcing his way into the hardest rooms early, even when the easier path was right there. So, 2026 isn't just another season on the calendar. It's another chance to see which version of Si Woo shows up, because with him, that's always the suspense. The talent isn't the question. The resume isn't the question. The real question is whether Si Woo can make those spike weeks the norm. We already know he can win and close late. Now it's about doing it more often. And that's why the LIV story mattered. It wasn't just gossip. It was a reminder that when a golfer has a player's trophy, multiple PGA Tour wins, and a market that a rival league wants to grow in, his name is always going to get pulled into big conversations, whether he asks for it or not.